spent days researching snails and the way they move and timing them out. You know, I'd get and recruit, you know, collecting up this massive cast of potential snails to be in this film. And and we shot over about, I think we probably shot about 4 or 5 days, because it was incredibly time consuming. And for anyone that's seen the film, pretty much every shot has a snail sped up. So each individual shot, just in shoot time, might take, you know, minimum 10 minutes, but often longer. And the difficulty was, you know, I'd mapped a journey, or I'd mapped out a story. You know, snail has to cross a road to get to some lettuce that it's seen. And so there was a kind of a geographical journey the snail needed to make, but of course a snail cannot be trained. I tried a few different things for how to dictate the direction they would go in, but it was, you know, there were certain things. They like going up, they like getting away from water, but they're not very controllable. So we would start a take, and 5 minutes into it, the snail might, you know, you want it to go that way, and it just suddenly does that. And so 5 minutes into a take, it stops, start again. So it was incredibly time consuming. It was the first time I had a reasonable budget. We got some money from the Film Commission, so we had, you know, probably about 100,000 to make this short film. And it, you know, it was complex, and it was a big crew on location, but it was the sort of thing that you could just read and go, I could just see it in my mind. I could just see these individual shots of a head, and that you'd put a note and you'd cut them all together, and it would just kind of work. And it did. It absolutely worked. I mean, people loved it, and it just, the idea just played. I mean, everybody knows this, the Blue Danube, you know the piece of music, and there's a kind of a, you know, as an audience, no matter who you are, the kind of note that he was chasing. So, yeah. But it's, again, that just played like crazy in a theatre. You know, I sat there with people, and everybody gets it. And it's a film that's travelled, probably out of anything I've done, has travelled more widely. It's been seen, you know, all over the world. It's sold to countries, you know. It's played in festivals everywhere, and it just, it kind of transcends language barriers as well. It's the other thing I quite like doing, is making films that aren't language based. You know, I learned really early with Snail's Pace, making something which is essentially a silent movie is just, you know, you can play anywhere. And Singing Trophy did the same thing. It's just, you know, there's no country in the world that it wouldn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but you know, people get it, and kids get it. It's just, it works for anyone. I didn't even see it as a film that I was even very sure about. You know, in terms of an absurd concept, it felt like even more extreme than Singing Trophy. It just felt, you know, here's a story about a group of Kiwi animal rights activists going to Norway to stop lemmings from jumping over a cliff. It's so stupid that I just thought this could work, but it actually felt quite risky. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, and we actually did it kind of on the quiet. And again, people got it. It's just, I mean, you know, it's a testament to the actors, because they really did an amazing job. We had some rehearsals before the shoot, but we went and shot on the cliff tops in Titahi Bay in Wellington on about the 2nd of January, whatever year that was, and it was so windy that, you know, Wellington's notoriously windy. This is an incredibly exposed spot, and it was howling. And you know, we got there, and I just thought that we're not going to be able to shoot this film. And the crew, you know, we had a couple of trucks, and this Ken Saville, the sound, he went, oh, well, let's just put the trucks in a line, and we'll just make a barrier, like a windbreak, and we'll just put them just out of shot. And we did, and it was so windy that it was hard to communicate with the actors during the shoot. So the prep that we'd done, you know, we'd done enough rehearsal, and I knew that that I'd sort of built these characters around them. When on the shoot, I mean, I might be overstating it, but I don't remember actually saying much to them. It was really just do your stuff, and we got it. And, I mean, you know, of course there was lots of, you know, it was 3 days worth, so there was lots of discussion, but it was really just, let's just get this. I'm not entirely happy with the film now. I mean, I think I was quite inexperienced. I mean, I'd made a few things, but it's kind of, you know, particularly in the script is kind of not as good as I would, you know, now, older and wiser, I wouldn't have rushed into it so quickly. I would have kind of actually worked on the script a bit longer just to get it really, just get it working better. You know, there's things, I mean, the interesting thing I find with the industry and that kind of career path is that you get a shot when you're young, and you kind of really only get one shot at a feature, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and it's kind of, Chicken didn't really work. I mean, it financially didn't do very well, critically, you know, it didn't, so it was hard after that to get another one happening. And I think it's, you know, I think it's probably important as an industry that we make sure that the first film that people make is as good as it can possibly be, because, you know, when you're young, all you want to do is make that film, and you kind of, you know, people believe as well that it's easier than it is, and it's not. It's, making a feature is many times harder than making a short film. We had next to no money, and I kind of worked on it for bugger all. But I decided to get to cast the actors and get them involved in developing the script. So the casting was fantastic, because I cast for, you know, I needed 4 young actors. I cast in Auckland, Wellington, maybe Christchurch, and you know, I was the most popular director in New Zealand at that point. Yes, we have it's not a big budget. We have a funded film. We're going to Europe to travel around Europe for a month, and you know, in vans, and just shoot a feature film while we're there. So everyone wanted to be in it. I mean, and it was, you know, I just saw every young actor in the country over a couple of months. So we left the country. We went to London. We bought a Kombi van. We bought a big camper for the crew, and we drove around Europe for a month. And we just played out. It was great in that we could shoot the film chronologically. So, you know, we ran the story, and you know, whatever happened, we could just respond to it. Oh, something, we changed that yesterday. This is going to happen. Oh, the van, the door just fell off the van. Oh, we'll just have to roll with it. We just, you know. And that's basically what happened over the course of it. The van just crumbled, and by the end of it, we ended up in Rome. We finished the film, and I won't say what happened to the van in case anybody hasn't seen the film, but yeah, it was an amazing experience, and and it's a film I'm incredibly proud of. The thing that actually got me really interested was when I found out this, what seems to be undisputed, is that 1 in 2,000 people are born intersex, which is that they are born somewhere in between male and female. And I just turned that into, you know, 1 in 2,000 is incredibly common. And I thought, why do we not know about this? They were incredibly powerful stories, but the thing that kind of shone through was just the characters of these people were, you know, every interview I'd leave and we'd turn to each other and go, what an amazing person. And it was a, you know, it was a great experience. Again, it was difficult to put together. You know, it was my first real documentary, feature-length documentary, and I sort of didn't really know what it was until, you know, it was the editing process. We had to kind of find the film. But it's gone on to do incredibly well. I mean, you know, for a lot of people, it's still a subject that makes people feel a bit uncomfortable, and I've taken people along to screenings of it where they're going, oh yeah, I guess. And they've only come because they sort of know me, and at the end of the screening, they've got, you know, I've had people go, that was amazing. You know, I didn't really want to watch that, but now that I have, it's opened my eyes, and it's done the thing that I really wanted to do, which was kind of humanise people rather than go, ooh, those strange people over there that we. You sit there, you watch the film, at the end of it, you go, ah, you know, they're just like you and me. There's just one little thing that's different, and I'm so pleased with that.